Wonderful, everybody. Let's begin, shall we? So I'd like you guys to start with laying down on your back, just like we did yesterday. And once you get onto your back, if you'd like to have a pillow below your head, you could do that for a little bit of support. Bend your knees, place the feet on the floor, and then just draw the palms down onto the lower portion of your belly and let your eyes close. And as you close the eyes, begin to tune into your breath, feeling the cooling sensation of your inhale at the nostrils, the back of the throat. And as you exhale, feel the warmth of your breath rising out of your body. Allow your shoulders to relax, feel the weight of your arms. And let your head get nice and heavy here. You can feel the weight of the brain resting on the back of your skull. As you exhale, relaxing into your back, and feel the warmth that's collected there below the back, almost as if you're laying on a giant hot water bottle. And allow that warmth of the back body to soothe and release those deeply woven layers of muscle along the sides of your spine, between the ribs, into your lower back. Relaxing through the hips, feel the connection of the soles of your feet on the floor. Now, leaving one hand on your belly, bring one hand to your heart, just resting a palm near the chest, a palm on the belly. And I'd like you to bring to mind something that you feel grateful for this morning. It could be something really simple, like your tea this morning, your smoothie, something or someone in your life, just something that sparks that little flame of gratitude inside of your heart. And breathe that gratitude in throughout the body. And then taking the hand at the heart and bringing it back to the belly. So both hands on the belly again. And our hands now can begin to be a focal point of where our breath is beginning. So as you inhale, begin to feel that space below your hands rising, as if you're filling up a balloon inside of your belly. And then the breath will slowly laterally expand into the sides of your ribs, and then lastly up into the chest. As you exhale, feel the reverse of that, the upper lobes of the lungs empty, side ribs moving in, and lastly the belly moving in towards the spine. So throughout our practice this morning, we want to be reminding ourselves that this is where we're bringing our breath into, these deep belly breaths, and that helps us to turn on that parasympathetic nervous system in the body. Inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly draw your knees up towards your chest, wrapping your hands around the front of your shins, and having a little roll here side to side. And as you roll side to side, you could try and hug the knees up a little closer towards you. So you can begin to move around your rib cage area into your kidneys at the back pocket of the ribs. Then you could take the knees a little bit further away to track laterally across your hips and right down around your tailbone and sacrum, and then start to pull the knees back up, moving a little higher, and just go up and down a few times, taking the knees closer and then further away. Good. And then without rocking, we'll just slowly bring the knees to center and rest the feet onto the floor. So with the feet on the floor, if we just collapse the knees out wide so that the soles of the feet now come against one another, and the outer edges of our feet are going to be resting on the floor. So we're in this sort of butterfly shape with our legs. What we're going to do now is extend our arms all the way straight above our chest, joining the palms of our hands together so that the fingers point up towards the ceiling. And if you hook your thumb around your opposite hand, then you can get a little bit of connection there between the two palms. Now inhale, and as you exhale, slowly sweep your arms over your head, the thumbs moving towards the floor above your head. And then as you inhale, bring your hands slowly back up, fingertips pointing up towards the ceiling. Plug your shoulders back down to the floor. Exhale, sweep your arms over your head, thumbs moving towards the floor above you. And then inhale, again, bring them all the way back up. So we'll just repeat this several more times. Now, as you guys begin to extend the arms over the head, just be aware that we don't want the front ribs lifting or poking out of the body. So if we kind of almost hold the ribs down a little bit as we sweep the arms over our head and back up, then we can really get this range of motion through our shoulder girdle and through the thoracic spine and through our upper back, so that we're not just sort of flexing and extending through that super common area at the mid back. Good, let's try one more like this. Plug the shoulders down first before you sweep the arms over your head. Once your arms get there, let's just hold it here for an extra breath, reaching into your fingertips and drawing the thumb side of the hand down towards the floor. Nice big inhale. And as you exhale, slowly bring the arms all the way back over your head and then release the hands to your sides. One by one, carrying the knees all the way back up so that the feet flatten onto the floor. Now let's sweep the arms out nice and wide to about the height of the shoulders with the palms of your hands facing up. And we'll take our right leg now and cross it all the way over top of your left leg. So there's no window or gap between the legs. We have our legs actually completely stacked. Now lift the hips up and just slide the hips over to the right, just by an inch or so. Big inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lower the knees over to the left. So we have the right leg crossed over the left and we're bringing our legs over to the left. Now, if it feels like it's a bit too far for you to bring the legs right down to the floor, you could always use a folded blanket or a pillow and tuck that underneath that left thigh, knee area and kind of prop it up if you feel like you need a little bit of extra support here. And then just letting the legs get as heavy and as restful as you can. So this is a passive movement. And breathing here. Drawing your breath down into the ribs, down into that belly area where we had our hands. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly bring your knees all the way back up to center. So square off the hips. If they feel like they're a little crooked, let's bring them back to center and uncross the right leg. So our arms will remain out nice and wide along the floor. We'll take our left leg now and cross the left leg over top of the right leg. Okay, so cross it right over so that the thighs are touching. Now slide the hips just over to the left, just by an inch, just sort of wiggle them over a little bit. Inhale, and as you exhale, lower the legs over to the right. So you can kind of prop that right leg up with the pillow if you need to, if the floor feels a bit too far away. And then just letting the legs get as heavy as possible as they release over to that right side. And then again, you can feel the way that the path of the breath changes a little bit within this twisty shape. Notice the way that one side of the lungs opens more fully than the other. As you exhale, relax into your mid and upper back. Relax your hands and your feet. One more big breath. Good. And then slowly, let's bring the knees all the way back up. Center the hips and uncross that leg. Again, bring your knees up towards your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins. You could also go for the backs of the knees if that feels better for you. And then again, you could have a roll here side to side. Just releasing into the back. Inhale, come to center, and exhale, release the feet to the floor. So with the feet on the floor here, we'll take now our right leg over top of the left leg, or so it's stacked on top of our left thigh. So at this position, I'd like to have that right foot as neutral as possible. So if I flex it a little bit, then that right knee will be well supported. Okay, so right ankle onto your left thigh. Now hugging your left thigh towards your chest, we'll bring our right hand through that little window between our legs and interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. Okay, if this feels too strong for you, you could simply just leave the left foot on the floor and the right foot on top of the left, and that may well be enough for your hip and your knee. But otherwise, hug the knees towards you and grab onto the back of your left thigh. Now, if you're much more flexible, you could always bring your hands around the front of your left shin, which will bring the legs in a little bit more and ask a little bit more flexibility of the hip. So once you have a hold of the leg, feel free here to roll a little bit side to side across your back, working into that stretch, into that sensation of opening through the hip, through the glute. Maybe even you could feel it in the hamstrings a little bit. And then without rolling, let's just hold this pose in the center of the back. And then thinking about plugging the shoulders back down towards the floor. So as you do that, it will naturally draw the legs in a little bit closer, lengthening the back of your neck. So if you notice that your head is lifting up a whole lot and you're kind of kinking in the back of the neck, just feel free to grab a blanket and tuck it underneath the back of your neck here. One more big breath. And then slowly release just the left foot to the floor and keep your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Okay, so we're still keeping our legs in the same shape. Open the arms out nice and wide now, the palms of your hands facing up. Now keeping the legs in this shape, inhale. And as you exhale, lower the legs over to the left. So we're going to bring the outer left knee down towards the floor. And if the floor feels too far, again, you can wedge a pillow or blanket underneath your left knee or thigh. And we'll keep that right ankle stacked on top of our left thigh. So you can start to feel that stretch inside that right hip area. Good. That's it, everybody. One more big breath here. And then slowly draw the legs all the way back up. So let's uncross our right leg, bringing the right foot to the floor. And bring our left ankle now on top of our right thigh. So just remember to keep that left foot in a state of flexion so it's slightly active to stabilize the left knee. And now keeping the left ankle on our right thigh, we'll hug the right thigh towards the body, reaching your left hand through that window and interlacing your fingers to the back of your right thigh or to the front of the right shin. You could also use a strap around the back of your leg. If it feels like that's just a little bit more accessible for you, feel free to do that. And if rolling here side to side works for your body, you could also do that. And then without rolling, let's just hold it here at center, plugging the shoulders back down to the floor, lengthening through the back of your neck. One more big breath. And then slowly, keeping the legs in the same shape, release just your right foot to the floor, keeping the left ankle stacked on top. Now open the arms out nice and wide, palms of the hands up, inhale. And as you exhale, keeping the legs in this shape, lower them over to the right. So the outer right knee and thigh are going to come down to the floor or near to the floor. If you want a little bridge, tuck a block under there or a pillow. And then you'll notice that if you work the left knee away from your body in this position a little bit, you could even bring your right hand to the inside of your left thigh knee area and apply a little bit of pressure away from your body. That you'll get a slightly deeper stretch there into the hip. And again, just cycling the breath into the area of the body where you're feeling the strongest resistance. Breathing into that. See if your breath can melt some of that tension away on the exhale. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly bring your knees all the way back up and uncross that leg. One by one, extend the legs down along the floor, and we'll sweep our arms all the way over our head now, bringing the palms of your hands together and rolling the palms away from you. So stretch down into the heels, stretch up into your fingers, squeezing your elbows to your ears. One more big breath, reach tall, squeeze. Exhale, release. Sweep your arms all the way down beside your hips. Have a big breath here. Good. Okay, so let's bend the knees and roll over to one side. And we're going to be rolling over again into all fours, like we did yesterday. So we could remove any pillows that are on our mat. And let's set ourselves up so that our hands are below the shoulders and the knees are below the hips. And positioning into a neutral spine, take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, slowly begin to round your back. As you round your back, tucking your tailbone, lifting through the shoulder blades, looking towards your belly button. As you inhale, roll the spine into your body, tip your pelvis, open up the chest, look up, and exhale again. Start at the base, tuck your tail, roll along like a string of pearls, bone by bone throughout the back. Just letting the head follow along. Inhale, bring it in. Just keep going with your own rhythm and length of breath. See if you can isolate those areas in the back that tend to move in little clusters, breaking it down. Good. And then slowly back into a neutral position with your spine. Sinking your hips now back towards the heels. Let's walk the arms out nice and long along the floor into child's pose. Releasing the forehead down to the floor between the hands or between the arms. Sitting those hips back towards the heels as close as you can here. Releasing the armpits towards the floor, keeping the arms long and a little bit strong here so we can start to press the palms down into the floor so that we're keeping our shoulders engaged as we ask them to open. And then walking both of our arms up and over towards the right side of the mat. Getting those left fingertips as high as you possibly can. And then breathing into that whole left side of the body. Good. Bring your hands back to center and walk them up and over to the left side now. Big breath here. Back to center. All the way up to all fours, and then right down onto the belly. And once you lay on your belly, just turning your head and resting on one cheek and having a nice full breath here. And as you breathe here, letting your hips, your legs, your thighs completely relax. Good. So let's bend the left knee now, and we'll draw the left heel in towards our seat. Now take your left hand, reach it back, and grab a hold of your left foot with your left hand. If the pant leg feels like it's more accessible, you can always grab a pant leg instead of the foot. Try to make sure though in this position that the knees remain in line with our hips, so we're not letting the left knee flare way out to the side. Now, once you have a hold of your foot, just being really mindful with your knee, start to squeeze your glutes, so squeeze your bum a little bit and push your pubic bone down into the floor as you draw the heel towards your left sitting bone. Now, as you do that, as you press the pubic bone and the hip bones down, you should feel that really sweeten that stretch up. Feeling the length into your hip flexors, into the quadricep. One more big breath. And then slowly releasing that side. So let's try that with our opposite leg, reaching our right hand back to take a hold of our right foot. And then again, without letting the knee flare off to the side, keep the knee shooting straight down from the hip. And then we can draw the heel in line with the sitting bone. And then start to root the pubic bone and the hip bones down. And as you draw them down, keep a little bit of pressure here with your hand, but be mindful there should be no pinchiness in the knee. Just want to feel this stretch all along the front of your right thigh. One more big breath. And release that side. Good. So let's sweep both of our hands now down beside the hips. And then bring your hands all the way back behind your lower back, joining the palms of your hands together and interlacing your fingers. Inhale, and as you exhale, begin to squeeze your legs, drawing the pubic bone down and the pelvic floor in, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together and lift the head and chest up off of the floor. And as you do that, we can elevate the legs up off of the floor as well. So feeling the entire back body waking up here. Keeping the back of your neck long. Think about drawing the knuckles down towards the heels as you pull the shoulders down your back. Reaching into your legs, pointing your toes and squeezing your thighs. One more big breath. And then slowly releasing your entire body back down to the floor, turning your head and resting on one cheek. Good. And then placing your hands below your shoulders so you can slowly press yourself all the way up to all fours. And from all fours, again, coming back into child's pose. The hips moving back towards the heels, but this time, sweep your arms down beside your hips with the palms of your hands facing up. Letting the shoulders release towards the floor, breathing into the back of your body. Good. And letting those hips get as heavy as possible here. One more big breath. And then slowly pressing yourself up into all fours. And then we're going to come over into a seated position. So if you'd like to have a block or a pillow nearby you for support here, you could tuck that underneath your hips so that you can sit up on it and just give yourself a little bit of support for your back. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll position our legs so that we'll bring the soles of our feet together, pulling the heels in towards the pubic bone. And if you look down at the heels, just to make sure that they're nice and aligned here. So as we inhale, let's sit up nice and tall, rolling the shoulders back and down. And as you exhale, slowly begin to come forward over your legs. Now you can tug a little bit with your hands, just make sure we're not collapsing through the front of the body. So we're keeping that length even as we begin to come forward. And then just let the breath work you into this pose, exhale by exhale. So we're not muscling our way in, we're just letting the breath unravel that tension, allowing us to sink in a little bit deeper. And check in with the shoulders, making sure they aren't crawled up into the ears. One more big breath. And then slowly bringing your body all the way back up. We can take a hold of our knees with our hands and just sort of carry them all the way up above us here. Good. And then from here, what we're going to do is extend the legs out nice and wide along the floor so that our toes and our knees are pointing straight up. And we're going to be firming the legs down into the floor. So draw a line from your heels all the way to your sitting bones and press that line down into the floor. And then if we start with a really slow side to side motion. So we'll be leaning from one side over to the other, no bounciness, just a slight lean. As you lean, think about keeping your top shoulder back a hair, bottom shoulder forward. Good. Let's come up to center. We'll lean now to the left. So let's lean, we're reaching our left hand down towards the left foot. If that's enough for you, you could maintain this. To take it a little bit further, we'll bring our right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. And you could even begin to reach the right arm over towards your left foot. Nice big breath. Good. Release the arm all the way up. And we'll start to take that over to the other side. So leaning over to the right. Now, right shoulder coming forward, top shoulder moving back. And then taking that left arm, reaching it up towards the ceiling. And you can even begin to release it over towards the foot. Open up the sides of your ribs with a breath here. Good. And then left arm rising up and bringing yourself all the way into a seated position. So press the legs down into the floor and keep them like that, bringing your hands back behind you. And you can kind of spider tip up onto your fingers in this position. So we can use the arms almost like we're going to lift ourselves right up off the floor. Inhale, and as you exhale, slowly begin to press your body forward off your fingers. So it's like we're going to draw our chest up nice and tall, and we'll be rolling through our pelvis to create this movement. So rather than sort of shortening into it, I'm lengthening my whole body. So if having the hands behind you, you feel like is no longer helpful, you can always begin to walk your hands forward in front of you here. Just make sure that we don't lose the length to the front line of the body as we start to come into that forward fold. So maybe it's better for you to keep your hands back behind you. You could play with both and see what's most effective for you. Thinking about rolling the pubic bone down, lifting the sitting bones up and back behind you. And dropping the shoulders and breathing. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly begin to rise all the way back up. And then we'll slide our legs all the way back together. And again, you could roll yourself back onto that support if you'd like, getting your sitting bones sort of hooked up over top of it. And then drawing a straight line from your heels to your sitting bones and pressing that line down into the floor. So in other words, our legs are strong here. As you inhale, let's sit ourselves up tall, like someone's pulling a string through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale from the pelvis, begin to roll the body forward. So again, it's the pubic bone rolling between the legs. Now you could reach down, grab your feet. You could also use your strap at this point and lasso your feet with your strap if you'd prefer. Or you could have your hands resting on your legs, okay? So either way, finding that leverage coming through the hips and just holding it here. Good. So Janice, let's relax the shoulders and draw the chest up. Good. Kelly, you too, shoulders pulling away from the ears. Yes. Nice work. And I've got a trio, Trish team there. You guys bring your feet together. See if we can bring the soul. Yes, wonderful. And then press the inner arches of those feet away from you, and you'll feel that that will really sweeten that stretch up. You can feel that it changes a little bit. And now chest up. Yes, good. Excellent. One more big breath here. So everybody soften those shoulders. Nice work. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly release and bring yourself all the way up into a seated position. Good. Okay. So let's untuck whatever we are using from back below us. If you'd like to bring that underneath your head, you can. We're going to roll again onto our back. So we'll adjust into that position. Now, once you get onto your back, Let's open the arms out nice and wide, palms of the hands facing up. Now, as you inhale, bring the knees all the way up to your chest, feet lifting off of the floor. And as you exhale, lowering the legs over to the right. And allow the legs to rest completely onto the floor in this position. And if they don't rest on the floor, you could always tuck a pillow underneath that right knee or thigh area. And then let your head roll back towards your left shoulder. Good. And Susan, bring your feet a little bit further in front of your body. Opposite way. Yes. Good. That's it. One more big breath here. Really unwind into that exhale. Good. And then inhale, bring the knees all the way back up. Good. And as you exhale, carry the legs over to the opposite side. That's it, Wendy. And then rolling the head back towards the right shoulder. If you'd like anything between the knees, you could. Kelly, bring your feet, stacking them one on top of the other if you could. Yeah, and then bring them forward towards your couch just a little bit. The feet towards the, yes, good. Nice work. Let's find the breath, weave it into this pose. Breathe out tension. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly bring the legs all the way back up, one by one. And then rest the feet onto the floor. Good. So if we do have anything underneath the back of our head, let's just slide that out for a moment so that our head is flat on the floor. And then we'll bring the palms of our hands down now, right beside our hips. Okay. Knees are bent and feet are about hip width apart. Inhale. And as you exhale, press the feet down into the floor in order to lift your hips up into what's called little bridge pose. So we've got our hips lifting as high as we can up off of the floor. And we can start to kind of walk the shoulder blades here one by one in towards one another so that we get a little bit of a lift as well through our chest and through our upper back. And then pressing the hands down into the floor. Notice if the knees are flaring out to the side and try and keep your knees in line with your hips. All four corners of the feet rooting into the floor evenly. One more big breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly begin to lower your entire body back down to the floor. One by one, extend the legs down along the floor, and then sweep your arms over your head, interlacing your fingers, rolling the palms away from you, stretch into your arms, root down into the heels. Squeeze your elbows towards your ears, reach into the heels, inhale, squeeze. And exhale, slowly release, sweeping your arms all the way back down beside your hips. Big breath here. Good. Bending your right knee in towards your chest. Reaching your hands up, interlacing your fingers to the front of your right knee or right shin, and pulling the knee in towards the chest. As you pull the right knee in, firming the back of your left thigh down. One more big breath. And release. Stretch the right leg out nice and long along the floor. Bring your left knee into your chest. Hands interlacing to the front of your left shin. And let's pull the knee in towards the body here. As you bring the knee in, pressing the back of your right thigh down. Inhale. Exhale, release. Stretch the left leg out long. Again, sweep your arms over your head, interlace your fingers, roll the palms away from you, stretch. Down into the heels, up into the palms, squeezing your arms, squeezing your legs. Big inhale, reach. Exhale, release. Sweep your arms all the way down beside your hips. Close your eyes, have a big breath. Good. Okay. Nice work, everybody. So let's get set up now for Shavasana, the end relaxation. So you'll be laying on your back, getting whatever equipment you need to get yourself cozy. If you would like a blanket over top of your body or an eye bag over your eyes, you could do that now as well. Just taking your time to get yourself organized here. And settling with some nice, deep, full belly breaths here. And feeling the footprint of your body sinking into the floor, that silhouette. Feeling gravity's embrace on the bones, the muscle, and the skin. And think about drawing your breath 360 degrees throughout your body. And as you exhale, allow the bones to exhale, the weight of the bones settling. Loosening the arches of your feet. Relaxing the ankles and the shins. The kneecaps floating. And the thigh muscles heavy. Allow the hip creases to relax into your body. Relaxing the muscles around the tailbone, the pubic bone. And feeling how heavy the pelvis can become. And how the weight of the pelvis helps to loosen and release into the lower spine. And the length of the back, warm and supported below you. Softening into the ribs and into the shoulder blades. As you inhale, feel your breath rising through your belly, your ribs, and your chest. And as you exhale, allowing the front body to release inwards. And the inner organs floating effortlessly. The lungs relaxed. Let your shoulders release down through your arms, relaxing the elbows and the wrists and fingers. And relaxing the neck and the throat. A small separation between the teeth, the face expressionless. And feel your brain relaxing onto the back of your skull. Each wave of breath unveiling another layer of tension from your body. And slowly bring your awareness back, but allowing that relaxation to remain so it can be with you throughout the day. And as you feel ready, rolling to one side and easing yourself up into a seated position. Namaste.